G'day everyone, this is Jackson Milan, the Wealth Mentor, the co-founder and CEO of Aureus Financial.
My name is Sam Panetta. I'm the co-founder and the COO of Aureus Financial, and tonight we are joined by Mr. Jarrod Jenkins.
How you doing?
G'day Jarrod, how you doing,
G'day,
mate?
boys.
Good to see you, mate.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming in, mate.
Pleasure.
Mate, so you are a long-term friend of our friend Sam here, the Bearded Dragon. Mate, so you've had a very interesting journey to date. Obviously, you're currently self-employed, working for 5-Star Carpet Cleaning. You've been a long-term, really lifelong martial artist. You're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. You've competed in martial arts for a long time. You are a trainer and coach in martial arts, and you're an all-round good bloke.
Thanks.
Top bloke.
So, mate, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Mate,
It's great to be here.
so today's really about kind of diving into, I guess, the contrasts of being a business owner and a martial artist.
Sure.
I've dabbled in martial arts most of my life, probably not as dedicated as you, mate. We actually train at the same gym down at Lang's MMA. Jarrod is actually my instructor. One of my instructors down there, and really we wanted to dive into your experience as being a martial artist and the impact that it's had on your life. So, mate, give us a bit of an intro to you and who's Jarrod Jenkins?
Yeah, so a little bit of background on myself. I was born in the northern beaches. I lived here up until the age of 6, and then my mother split from my father and remarried. We moved to Marrickville for about 6 years, and I started doing a little bit of karate and taekwondo over there.
How old were you when you started getting involved with that?
I was 6 years old when I did karate, and I did that for about a year. I don't really remember a lot of it. And then at the age of 10, I started doing taekwondo at the Newtown Police Boys Club, which is where Jeff Fennick trained with Tony Lewis. It was known more as a boxing training centre back then, but there was also a taekwondo room upstairs. So I started doing that for a while, and then my mother ended up divorcing a second time, and then we moved back to the Northern Beaches at the age of 12. And then at the age of 14, I started doing Thai kickboxing at Bulldog Gym in Manly, and I really enjoyed that. And then I was playing other sports as well. I was playing football and that kind of stuff. So I did that for about a year or two, and then at the age of 20, I ended up getting involved with mixed martial arts. And so mixed martial arts is a collection of all the different martial arts styles, like boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. It's all sort of blended together. And I've been doing that since the age of 20 at Lang's MMA, which is on the Northern Beaches in North Manly. And so I train down there pretty much 5 nights a week. I teach 1 night a week on a Friday afternoon. And so that's a bit about my background. Work-wise, I work as a carpet cleaner during the day, and I'm basically a subcontractor. I get my own jobs in, but I also work for 5-Star. So being a subby, you can't just do all of your work for one company, otherwise you're an employee basically.
Sure.
So you have to also source your own work. So that's basically what I do, and for me, I enjoy it because I get to work during the day, I get to train in the afternoons. So I've kind of structured it so that I can have a good work-life balance. So, carpet cleaning is not really my passion, but it helps sort of, I guess,
Helps fuel your passion, I guess.
Find my passion, fuel my passion, yeah. So it's it works out well,
And mate, that's a phenomenal achievement. How old are you now?
I'm 29.
Wow, and
I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when I was 20, so that was the MMA side of it. But like I said, I've been doing it. I've been doing martial arts sort of.
And that's a huge achievement, mate, because for those of you who don't know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's one of the hardest martial arts to grade in. You really, unlike a lot of the other martial arts where you can do like a kata or a form and be able to get graded very, very quickly, in some martial arts you can get a black belt in 2 years. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is known as the hardest martial art in order to grade and achieve the rank of a black belt. It's probably the epitome of martial arts in that respect. And for most people who are practitioners of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's typically to get a black belt 10, 12, 15 years?
For me, it took me about 9 years. I had a year off because I hurt my knee. But I would say typically it's about 10 years.
It's a phenomenal achievement, mate.
Yeah, thank you. You can do it quicker if you're super, super dedicated. I was doing other things besides Jiu-Jitsu. I was doing boxing, kickboxing, but if you're training like say 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, you could probably get it in maybe 6 years,
Sure.
6 to 7 years. There's some guys that have gotten it quicker than that, but I'd say for the average person, it's about a 10-year journey.
And it's a big investment, and I think that speaks for dedication. Like I know from first-hand experience, like my old man was a big believer in martial arts.
Yeah.
And he always tried to enroll me in martial arts, but as a kid, you know, like you never stick the course. You do it for 6 months. You fall out with someone there. You don't like it anymore. You want to go do something else what all your friends are doing. Yeah. And I know from first-hand experience, I never stuck the course. And I think the hardest thing with jiu-jitsu is getting from one rank to the next, because it's very hard to be recognised for your improvements, even if it's just gradual. So it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So mate, I think that speaks for your dedication and determination to stick the course. So where did you learn that from, mate? How did you get that determination to push on?
To be honest, for me, the reason I stuck with it was just because I loved it. I enjoyed it. If you love something, it's still hard, but it's easier than if you hate it. So
sure. That's anything in life, I reckon. That's absolutely anything in life.
Yeah, so, you know, for me, I was lucky. I had parents that let me play a range of sports. It wasn't just, you know, martial arts and stuff. I played rugby league. I did little athletics. I did all these different sports. I played soccer when I was really young. So I was lucky. I had parents that were pretty easygoing and let me do things I wanted to do. So I think that makes a difference. If you're forcing a kid to do something he doesn't want to do, he's probably not going to last.
Sure.
You know, but for me, I enjoyed it, and that's kind of why I think I stayed doing it, because it's tough. It's very demoralising at times when you're getting tapped out, or, you know, even though we're only training, it's still it's a knock on your ego, I guess, when you first walk in the gym and some little guy who's half your size is choking you unconscious. So.
Does Jackson do that to you sometimes?
He does this to me. He crushes me. We call Jarrod the monster in the gym.
What keeps drawing you back, mate? What is it about it that you cop the physical punishment, the emotional punishment, the mental punishment, you keep going back? What is it? What are the draw cards that keeps you going every time?
I think it's just who I am. Like, you know, growing up, I never really aspired to be, say, an accountant or, you know, a veterinarian or anything like that. I just wanted to be like a martial artist or a fighter or something like that. So some sort of athlete. That's just what I wanted to be. So it's just a childhood thing, and it's kind of just kept progressing. And, you know, I really wanted to get a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. As Jackson said, Jiu-Jitsu is a very tough martial art to get a black belt in. I'd say Jiu-Jitsu and Judo are probably the two toughest. You know, you get some, not to knock the other martial arts, but I see some some guys that are doing karate or you know, other styles, taekwondo, and there's like kids getting black belts and stuff. Right. You know, they've only been training like 3 or 4 years. So for me, I don't know. I'm different. I think it should be a really tough, hard journey, and it makes it all worthwhile when you get it. You kind of appreciate it more when you finally do get it. So.
Well, that's been the biggest thing for me, mate, with my training, and I think that a lot of people who do train martial arts, particularly if they're trying to run a business or trying to lead a career, it's very difficult to get that balance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then when you start getting some momentum, you get an injury.
Yes.
I've lost count of the amount of injuries that I've had training jiu-jitsu, and I've been training on and off for about 6 years or 7 years, and it's really hard to pull yourself back up after an injury and get back on the mats and keep training. So
any particular injury that you had? Or?
Bad knees.
Okay.
I've always had problems with my knees, and that's always what's kind of held me back, like minor meniscus tears and things like that. It hasn't required surgery, but it's never 100% again.
And it takes a long time to heal.
It takes a really long time to heal, and the more time you have on off the mats, the harder it is to get back on it.
Yes, yeah.
So, mate, in your journey as a martial artist, what's been kind of the biggest lesson that you've learned, I guess, along the way that's kind of flowed through in your life as a person?
That's kind of sort of translated into my outside life.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd probably say just being humble and just not having an ego. You learn to let go of the ego, because, like I said, when you first start doing martial arts, or specifically Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're getting choked out by someone half your size. So for some people, they just can't handle that. Their brains are just like, it just doesn't make sense, and they don't last. They don't last. So it's important to let go of your ego, to be humble, and especially if you reach the black belt level, especially if you reach that level, generally, like I look at Jiu-Jitsu like a bit of a douchebag filter. You kind of, the douchebags don't last. You know, they might last for a week or two.
I've never heard of that. Yeah. A douchebag filter. I don't mind it.
Yeah. So it's a good way of filtering out dickheads because they don't last. You know, they can't handle the fact that someone half their size is choking them out. So I'd say it's probably taught me to be very humble, very down to earth, and very respectful. I think you got to be a respectful person to be a martial artist.
Yeah.
You got to do the right thing by people, not try and screw people over and things like that. So it's probably just made me just a better person in general. I think it's just helped me, and that obviously helps you in certain things. Like people trust you more, you have better relationships with people. So it's probably helped me in those ways, I'd say.
You're a very disciplined bloke, mate. I've known you for years. You're very disciplined. Do you think you're good at martial arts because you're very disciplined, or do you think you're very disciplined because of martial arts?
I think I am pretty disciplined as a person apart from the martial arts.
Yeah.
Take the martial arts aside, like saving money and buying a property with your help. I mean, that had nothing to do with martial arts. It was just me. But I think I was able to take that discipline that I had and sort of transfer it into my martial arts training and teaching and stuff like that. I'd probably say even without the martial arts, I was just naturally disciplined. At least in some respects anyway. But I think as you do martial arts, you gain more discipline.
So it sort of feeds on itself.
Yeah, I think you gain more discipline by doing it, and it teaches you to have discipline. It teaches you about respect and being good to people and doing the right thing, and not going up and hitting someone in a pub in the back of the head or something like that.
Well, this is really important.
Yeah.
I think a lot of you guys who are listening or watching are probably saying, why you guys got a martial artist on the podcast? You guys normally interview people who are business owners or entrepreneurs or whatever, but this is really, really related. And Jarrod, this is why it's got to come from you, because I think you're the best person to preach it. That this being a martial artist and being able to dedicate yourself to something for a decade goes to show how much of an impact you can have on other things in your life. And I think something that I've noticed myself is that I've inherited a bit of a hot temper from my old man. And prior to doing martial arts, I was a hothead, and I always felt like I had something to prove. But the longer that you do martial arts, particularly jiu-jitsu, where, as Jarrod said, you're getting choked out, tapped out.
It makes you humble.
You don't have anything to prove anymore, because you can walk through the street and you know that if the worst thing happened, that you could defend yourself. But what you actually find yourself is diffusing more situations than anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
You run into other hotheads, and they're trying to pick a fight with you.
You got nothing to prove at the end of the day, and I mean, if someone's mouthing off, you always try and diffuse the situation verbally first. The only time you have a fight is if someone's swinging at you. You've got to obviously do something to protect yourself. But generally I just try and diffuse the situation. Thankfully, I haven't really had people really mouth off to me that often. So I'll go out and have a drink at the pub or whatever, and generally it's fine. I don't, But there have been other times where I've seen other people mouthing off each other, and it's gotten a bit heated, and I've just said, "Look, calm down, guys." So that's what it's about. It's like I said, you need to be respectful, and the lessons that you learn doing martial arts, all these values that you pick up, like respect and being humble and all this kind of stuff, all this discipline that you learn, you can apply that to other areas of your life. You can apply that to your business. You can apply that to your job or whatever, or just your relationship at home or whatever. So there's a lot of things that you can take from martial arts and apply to other areas of your life.
And it's often overlooked. Like, I was watching something that was come up on Facebook, I think it was yesterday, and there was the head of the medical institute who's pushing an initiative to try and ban all combat sports for any people under the age of 18.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
And he said that the risk of injury, of head trauma, and people trying to kill themselves for basically trying to tear each other's heads off in the pursuit of pleasure and entertainment is ridiculous. And they wanted to ban boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and all of these other things. Now, Jarrod, like from your first-hand experience, because I know that you've spent time obviously coaching kids and stuff like that as well. What are some of the outcomes that you've seen through a kid walking in the door, maybe a bit of a rat bag, to going through some training, and what the outcome of that's been?
Yeah, sure. So, for me personally, when I started doing martial arts as a kid, it motivated me to stay healthy. It motivated me to stay off drugs and just be a healthy person, eat healthy and, eat clean, all that kind of stuff. So, there's so many benefits for kids doing martial arts. like I said, keeps them on the straight and narrow, keeps them away from drugs, keeps them motivated, gives them something to work towards, gives them a goal. Now, I think it's important to make a bit of a distinction between kids competing and training.
Yeah.
So if the medical professors are worried about that, then look, we can draw a line and say, okay, well, maybe young kids should not be punching each other in the ring. Maybe we could put maybe an age limit on that. But in terms of them training, I don't see a problem with that at all. Like,
it's only beneficial, mate.
Yeah, I can understand maybe the competition side of it. People are a little bit worried because when I went to Thailand,
But is that any different from kids playing football on the weekends?
Not really, no. I mean, the only thing is, football, you're not really getting punched or kicked in the head. So look, I think it's important that we be fair and we call it for what it is. But personally, I think there's so many more benefits for kids doing it than not doing it.
Correct.
And as I said, that if parents don't want their kids to actually get in the ring and fight, fair enough. But at least let them train. At least let them train and mingle. And they make friends as well with the other kids. So I just think there's so many more benefits than negatives.
Look, I think in this day and age, the biggest risk, and this flows through to a lot of things. The thing that scares me the most, and I've got young nephews, is cyberbullying and all of these things, right? And I remember back to when I was a kid, the kids that got picked on the most were the ones that didn't hold themselves with a frame, or the ones that reacted really.
You would always pick on the kid that would react the most, right? That's the old playground rules. It's horrible to say, but that's what used to happen.
It's how it works. And these days, given the technology, kids are easy victims, and they can be victimised in so many different ways, not just in the schoolyard. And martial arts does teach you of how to hold yourself and how to have that confidence. And to know that you do have the ability to defend yourself, and you're not that prey anymore. You could be the predator if you wanted to be, and I think that has a profound impact, and something that I advocate for all parents to put their kids into these types of things.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue into this, mate. I wanted to ask you about your role as a teacher in martial arts, right? So you've been training a very long time. You've been a fighter. When did you become a teacher? When did you say, you know what, I want to give a little bit back here to the martial arts community?
So I started teaching martial arts. I started teaching kickboxing, actually. It wasn't Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it was kickboxing.
At Bulldogs?
No, it was at Lang's.
At Lang's,
yeah. He does everything. He does kickboxing and
okay.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I started teaching a kickboxing class there. Just trying to remember exactly when it was. It was about 6 or 7 years ago. Can't remember the exact date, but it was around that time. I just started doing that, and I'd gone to TAFE after school and done a certificate 3 and 4 in health and fitness. So I was thinking about becoming a personal trainer, but the hours were all over the shop, and hence why the carpet cleaning job. The carpet cleaning job kind of was better because I was able to just work like a regular tradie would, and then go and train.
Beautiful.
So so I started teaching about 6 or 7 years ago, doing Thai kickboxing, and then I was about a year and a half ago I started teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've only just sort of started teaching Jiu-Jitsu for the last year and a half, but I've been teaching sort of martial arts for like the last 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
It's been great. It's made me a better martial artist. It's made me, really refine things that I've learned. Because, obviously, when you teach someone, you want to make sure it's 100% correct and everything. So, it's definitely made me a better martial artist. I think it's made me better, maybe a little bit more confident in terms of just speaking in front of people and things like that. So it's helped in other areas of my life as well. It's been very beneficial. It's given me a lot of joy too, just to help people and see them grow and stuff like that. And for me, because I'm so passionate about it, it doesn't really feel like work. It just feels like,
Do you have a memory that stands out from either your training or your fighting or from your teaching? Do you have this one memory that this was a highlight of my martial arts career?
I would probably say last year I was competing at the Machado state titles at Narrabeen, and there was no one I was a brown belt at the time, and there was no one in my actual weight division. So at the time I was about 93 kilos, and I had to fight a guy who was 115.
Wow.
So it was a big weight difference. Yeah, but he wasn't as mobile as me. He wasn't as fit. So my whole game plan was I'm just going to tire him out, get him tired, and then I'm going to go for it. So match started, went to the ground, we're on the ground for a bit, I was past his guard, which is when you come around outside of the guy's legs, came around, a couple of minutes there in that position, and then I just sunk the choke in and choked him out, and that was a special moment because all the friends were there and family and stuff, and all the team was there, and so yeah, that's probably one of the best competitions that I've won.
Nice.
Yeah, but there's been other times as well. I fought up in Brisbane a few years back. I had a professional MMA fight up there, and beat a really good tough guy. So that was good, getting my hand raised at the Brisbane Leagues Club. Yeah, so but there's been lots of times. I mean, those are just a couple. I mean, just competing and winning gold medals and stuff has been really special. But even just like in the gym, just training and just feeling myself get better and better as time goes on, that's probably another great feeling as well.
So here's a question for you, mate, and I think this has a lot of synergies with being a business owner as well as being a professional athlete, right? There's probably not a harder sport in this world to prepare for in terms of trying to be an MMA fighter, right?
Yeah.
The professional MMA fighter.
It's a very extreme thing, yeah.
The toll that it takes on your body and the method you have to go through to make weight and all of this stuff. So talk us through that. So what do you do to prepare for a professional MMA fight?
Yeah, it's tough. You got to be extremely disciplined. You got to watch what you eat. You got to eat clean. That's the first thing you got to do. Start eating clean. Get rid of all the junk food, all that garbage. You want to be training pretty solidly, preferably twice a day. I say twice a day because most of us have jobs. So if you're a professional, you could probably train maybe 3 times a day. But for most guys, it's twice a day. In the morning, early morning, and in the afternoon and the evening. So training twice a day, 5 to 6 days a week. Usually have 1 day of rest, and it's a mixture of different things. So you're doing striking, you're doing boxing, kickboxing, you're sparring with different boxers and kickboxers, you're wrestling, you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're working on takedown defense, all these kinds of things. So there's all these different disciplines you've got to work, and that's the hard thing about it. You're trying to work all these different things and then sort of blend it all together in one thing. So, but yeah, it's a lot of discipline. You got to make sure you're not out drinking. Obviously, not doing drugs. Obviously, alcohol.
That's an easy rule.
Yeah,
If you want to be a fighter, don't take drugs.
Exactly. But you'd be surprised.
I'm not surprised. I'm not even surprised in the slightest.
But the main thing is you want to eat clean, you want to live clean, you want to train as hard as you can. For the few weeks leading up to the actual fight, your main focus is on strength and conditioning. So you really should know how to fight before you sign up for a fight. You really should know how to fight. The last few weeks, I'd say probably the last 4 to 5 weeks, should be all spent on strength and conditioning. Because you want to be as fit and as strong as you possibly can. In terms of weight cutting, obviously, for a jiu-jitsu match and for an MMA fight, it's a little bit different because in MMA, you generally have 24 hours before the fight to make weight. Okay, so you can weigh in 24 hours before, so you can dehydrate yourself a little bit in the sauna. You can cut weight. There's different techniques you can drink. There's a technique called water loading where you can drink liters and liters of water over a 5-day period, and then the last couple of days you taper off, and then basically your body expels the water that it holds onto. So there's ways that you can do it like that. And obviously you want to get your body fat levels down just by eating clean and watching what you eat and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I said, so the final few weeks is all basically strength and conditioning. Cutting weight, I would say you should start maybe a month or 2 out, maybe 1 to 2 months out. If you've never done it before, I would say start about 3 months out, just so you know your body. You
don't shock your body because
you don't want to be cutting weight 2 days before the thing. You want to make weight really a week before, or maybe even 2 weeks before. 1 to 2 weeks, just so that you're already used to being at that weight. Okay, you don't want to cut weight really the night before, unless it's water weight.
Sure.
Water weight's okay. I'm talking about body fat, but water weight generally you'll cut the day before, the 24 hours before. But all your body fat levels, you really should cut that down, start cutting that down a month or 2 out. And that way, at least it's not going to be a massive shock on your system. You do have to be a little bit careful in terms of cutting water weight, not to cut too much.
Sure.
So yeah, I would say about maybe 2 to 3 kilos is okay. Anything more than 5 is very dangerous. But there are some guys that have cut, sort of 5 kilos and felt okay.
And it's not healthy, is it, mate?
It's not healthy, no. I would say 2 to 3 kilos is pretty safe. Maybe in the sauna or with that water loading method I was talking about. But yeah, you've got to be very disciplined, and it's mentally tough. It's very mentally tough. It can be draining, but it's also very rewarding when you win. So
sure.
It's a good feeling when you win. Not so good if you lose.
We're smiling at each other, right? Yeah. Because this is what it takes to be a professional athlete, right? Yeah. This is what it takes to be a professional business person.
Correct.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The principles are the same.
The principles are the same. You need to take it seriously. You need to be disciplined.
Yeah.
You need to do the right things. You need to dedicate yourself to it. And when you compare that to most business owners are taking the piss.
Exactly.
They're not as dedicated as what Jarrod is in the lead up to a fight.
Exactly. And that's the difference. That's what separates a guy who's the champion from a guy who isn't. A guy who wins, the guy who loses. I mean, it's the same thing in business. If you're not doing it, there probably will be someone down the road's probably doing it.
I think a lot of it's attributed to the mindset, right?
Yeah.
In both aspects. I think that I was having a conversation with a friend recently about Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
And they said, well, why won't Conor McGregor defend his belts? And I go, well, you need to understand the mindset of defending a belt or fighting for a belt, right? That the mindset of defending a belt is that you have no way but down. Because the best case scenario is you stay the same. But if you are somebody who's competing as a challenger for the belt, you're the underdog because you're fighting for something. You're reaching up for something.
You're hungry.
You're hungry. Yeah. And I think that this all comes down to the mindset of being a fighter. Yeah. And the mindset of being a really good business person as well. So, mate, how have you crafted a mindset that's allowed you to achieve all of these things as a martial artist, be a professional fighter, and be able to do all of these things?
I think it's similar to what we touched on before. I think I kind of already just had it, but I think by doing martial arts, it forced me to become even more disciplined and that kind of thing. I personally found when I became a subcontractor and I was, doing all my own invoicing and all that kind of stuff, you become more disciplined. I guess for you guys, having your own business, you find the same thing. It's like you need to make sure you're staying on top of everything. You're not slacking off. Obviously you need to be able to chill out as well and sleep and all that kind of stuff and spend time with the family. You don't want to be killing yourself. But But you know what I mean.
No.
You've got to have times too when you rest and when you have a bit of leisure time. But yeah, you just got to be. I think for me, like I said, I think I already had it coming into it, but by doing it, it developed it even further. I think the same would be for you guys too. You probably already were disciplined before you started this, but you're becoming even more disciplined just by all the challenges that you've had to overcome.
Correct, and I think that the key thing is, like, as a business owner and as a martial artist as well, you've always got that little voice in your head that's telling you this is hard, you should quit, you shouldn't be doing this, you're not good at it, everyone's better than you. But I think that the ability to push on in spite of those things is what defines you as a person.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think you guys are passionate about what you're doing, and that's the other key thing. Like for me, I'm passionate about the martial arts. So when I broke my arm in a kickboxing fight, it didn't bother me really. I mean, I knew my arm would heal. I knew I'd still be doing martial arts. Like no matter what injury I had, I just kept pushing through it. But it was because I enjoyed it and I was passionate about it. And I think it's the same thing with you guys. If you guys are passionate about this business, I'm sure it's going to work. It's going to be successful. Imagine if you weren't passionate.
You could do it. It's way too hard, right? It's way too difficult. Not only in this business, but for any pursuit of excellence. In order to go from mediocre to excellency, there's going to be pain, right? There's a very, very thick pain
100%.
threshold, 100%. And if you don't love it, you're going to give up. You are 100% going to give up.
And it's like, why would you want to do something that you fucking hate doing?
Exactly right.
Why the fuck would you want to do that? Why would you want to put yourself through something that you hate? You know what I mean? Like, at least with the carpet cleaning, it allows me to do things I love to do. I don't particularly enjoy cleaning carpet, but it's just one of those things where I can do it and it pays me some good coin. I can still go and train and teach and do all these things. So I've kind of sort of structured it so where I can have a good lifestyle. and be self-employed and all that kind
And this
of
is
stuff.
the epitome, right?
I was just about to say that. So
Yeah.
at Aureus, right? So we've got
Yeah.
this thing. We talk about business, we talk about life, and we talk about wealth, right? So
Yeah.
these are sort of the three pillars,
Business, life, wealth, yeah.
right? Business, life, and wealth.
Yeah.
And you fit, mate. All right, you're one of the very few that I've seen who've nailed what we're trying to teach to the world, right?
Yeah.
So you understand your business, which is the carpet cleaning. You understand that that's a vehicle for you to be able to live the lifestyle you desire, which is your lifestyle.
Correct.
Right, so you know how hard you need to work, how many jobs you need to do, you know how much you're going to earn if you do those jobs,
Yeah.
and then you've essentially crafted your professional life to complement your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Now, your aim in business is not to make the most money. It's not to be the
It's
biggest.
not to drive a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or
but you
something.
understand
Yeah.
your purpose. Before you get
Yeah.
up and go to work every day, you understand what that business is doing for your life.
Correct.
And also, you understood that in life, that's just not enough. So you knew you had to grow wealth.
Yes.
So you've been in business, and then you've used that money from that business not only to fund your lifestyle, and now you're making money from your lifestyle, which is something else as
Yes.
well. You're passionate about your training.
Yes.
But you've invested money into property, and we've held your hand through it, and we've seen the wealth that you've grown through property investment.
exactly.
So you are the pinnacle of what Aureus is, I think. I really think you've absolutely nailed this, mate.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. As I said, I'm grateful to you guys for giving me good financial advice, and we did it, I guess. But, yeah.
Look, there's a few things there, Jarrod, and I think that a lot of people tend to go through life doing things because that's what they think they should be doing, because that's what other people expect of them, right?
Yeah.
They're in a job that they hate, they're working hours that they loathe, they're sacrificing on the things that they love, and they've got it the complete wrong way around.
Yeah, they're just miserable. Like, they might be making money, but they're miserable.
Yeah, like
You
what
know,
cost, you know?
Yeah, and life's not all about that. It's not all about having more money than your neighbour or something. You know, it's about, like you guys said, you know, you want to be able to have a great lifestyle. You want to have those three pillars. So, it's very important. You know?
So what's next for you, mate, in your martial arts career? What are you aspiring to now? You've got your black belt. Obviously, that's a tremendous achievement. Your training and your coaching. What's next for you, mate?
So in terms of martial arts, my main focus is on competition. So I still want to, now that I've got my black belt, I've competed at every belt level in Jiu-Jitsu, white, blue, purple, brown. I haven't competed at black. So I'm going to be doing a comp in June, and I really want you to do it as well. If you can.
I've got to kick him out. He's got to go. He's got to get a training.
It's down the road. It's at the DYPCY season, the Machado state titles.
Okay.
So last year I did pretty well. So hopefully I'm going to do well again. I'm going to train extremely hard for it. So I just want to do some competitions at the black belt level.
Yep.
And win some gold medals. That's my main focus at the moment. Continue teaching, and hopefully maybe down the road maybe purchase another investment property. I'd like to go for 2. Set myself a bit of a personal goal of 2.
Excellent.
And then so that's really it for me at the moment. Just going to keep doing what I'm doing, enjoying it, and just enjoying life, man.
This is what it's all about,
All
mate.
about.
It's about, once you make that one achievement, it's about
Yeah.
setting that next goal to keep you the forward momentum. Because I think far too often people achieve a certain milestone and then throw up their hands, take their foot off the accelerator, and then come to a grinding halt.
Yeah.
But it's a constant process of improvement. They go, yeah, fantastic, I've achieved this. Now what's next?
Life, that's the way life works. You can't just stop. Like, everything in life continues, and if you stop, you're by default falling behind.
Yeah.
Just by stopping, you know what I mean?
It's important to have goals and things that keep you motivated, and it doesn't have to be a financial thing. It could be like a health and fitness thing or something.
Exactly right.
You know? It's important to invest in your health, not just in your wallet. You know, there's no point having all this money and then finding out you've got heart disease because you live in this terrible lifestyle. So I think I always try to tell people, you know, work hard and all that, but enjoy yourself, take care of your body and all that kind of stuff. You want to be healthy, you want to be rich, you know, health-wise as well.
Exactly right.
You know, and I'm sure that's what you guys tell people. You know, you say, look, you know, just have that balance right. You know.
Yeah, I think you got to balance everything in your life, mate. There's so many different factors of life, and I think you need to balance all of them.
Yeah.
And I think that the people that you see in life who you aspire to be, I think they get it right. I think they get that balance right.
Yeah.
And a majority of other people, they don't. They just never thought about it, I guess.
I think too, it could be possibly how they've been brought up. They may have had parents that just worked just crazy hours, 16-hour shifts. Maybe that's just how they've been brought up. That's one of my theories on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Or it could just be the fact that they're just trying to just make as much money as possible, but they're sacrificing their health. You know, like, yeah, it's sad. You know, it's sad. But I guess you want to be working smart, not hard, in a sense.
Yeah.
You know? It's important. But I think the main thing is just having that balance. Like we said before, having a good balance in life is probably the most important thing, because you know it's great, you know, to have all this, but you want to make sure that you've got time to see your family, see your partner, hang out with your girlfriend, whatever it is. So otherwise you're just going to be a sad, lonely person. You're not going to have no one.
No,
you're going to be in the office all day, you know. So
mate, with everything that you've experienced, everything that you've learnt along the way, if you had to share some words of wisdom and some advice for our audience, what would you share?
I would say, first and foremost, find things that you're passionate about doing. Find something that you love to do and go after it. If you're in a job that you absolutely hate, I'd say look for something else. That'd be my first thing. I mean, just take a chance too. If you're a bit nervous about, say you want to do a martial art, or you want to join a gym or something, but you're a bit nervous, just take that first step. I know you might be a little bit nervous about it. It might be a little bit intimidating for some people to walk into a jiu-jitsu gym or a boxing gym or something, but just trust me, just take that step, go in there, I promise you won't look back. Every person that I've probably brought down about 15 people to my gym. I've just recommended, you know, I've brought people down over the years and said, you know, come down and train, and it's taken a bit of coaxing, but eventually they come down and they love it. There's a guy there who's a brown belt now who I brought down. Another guy who became the amateur MMA champion in New South Wales, brought him down. So there's a bunch of other people as well.
It's life changing, isn't it, Jarrod?
Yeah. I even tried to get Sam in there, and he finally started doing some kickboxing too. So
that's
after many years, I said, "You gotta just try it, mate." But
he's not joking. It was literally 10 years of bothering me.
Yeah, but I knew one day I was going to get him. So.
He's disciplined. Yeah. See, he stuck at it every time I saw the bloke. Without doubt, you're doing some martial arts now, mate.
And if I ask you now and I say, do you enjoy it?
Of course, mate.
Exactly.
So
the hardest thing is just getting there. So I'd say to people that are watching, I'd say just take that first step. Even if you're a little bit nervous or intimidated or whatever, just don't worry. Just suck it up and just take that first step and just go do it. And just find things that you're passionate about. If it's not martial arts, it might be netball, it might be basketball, you know, whatever it is.
You got to see your passion.
You got to get kicks out of life. You know what I mean? Like if you're
just do things that make you happy and that you're passionate about. That'll be my advice. And enjoy life. You know, obviously work hard and you know, if you're very career focused, if you want to be the best doctor or an accountant or whatever, then do that. But for me, it was all about doing things I love doing, and nothing's changed. I've been the same, you know, since I was young. So,
mate, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
an absolute pleasure.
Thanks
it's been awesome,
mate. Thank you.
Have to do it all again one day.
Mate, definitely. This is all about plotting the journey. So we've dived into the journey of Big Jarrod, the monster Jenkins, and mate, we'll see you on the mats. All the best in your martial arts career. And this is another episode of Enjoy the Journey podcast, and we will catch you next time.
See you later, guys.
Thank you.